This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A-game. A-made, no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This is an A-game, better bring your A-game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A-game. A-made, no rain from...
Hey, now it's the Mike and JD show, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD, by God, Oliva. How you doing, JD?
I'm really tired. I'm really tired. This was a long show. We had a long week with the family. I spent last night at the Museum of Science and Industry. We did like a sleepover there, and
like the whole family.
Yeah, me, my wife, and the kid,
Okay.
and it was like 400 people were doing it, and shockingly, I did not get a good night's sleep with a sleeping bag on the floor of a museum.
Yeah,
and then I had to coach all day.
Fucking dinosaurs are coming alive and shit, like Ben Stiller.
Well, they don't have dinosaurs at the Museum of Science and Industry. It's just industry. It's just like not that kind of stuff. So that would be at the Field Museum in Chicago. We would have that. But no, nothing. I slept by a replica of the Wright brothers plane. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's Air Force stuff. We have a Wright Brothers Cafe here on base.
That's cool.
Every Air Force base has something like dedicated to the Wright brothers. So,
yeah, of course, makes perfect sense. And then I coached all day today, so got home, watched the show, and that finish happened. So here we are.
It's like, dude, it's our second pay-per-view in a row where it's like, hey, this is a pretty good show. And then I think tonight went way too long. I thought the show was too long. I'm usually not one to complain about the length of the pay-per-views. I felt like this one was a bit too long. After a while, I got bored, to be honest with you. I did
too.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that they weren't, like, the matches weren't good. They were, but I've seen 10,000 good matches. So it's like, give me something interesting. And so but they sure did give me something interesting in that finish.
Sure did. I have a theory on where we're going with all this. I'll express that when we talk about the main event. I went and got a iced tea during Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia because that was boring. And
dude, I full disclosure, I didn't watch that match. So you guys have to tell me how that was.
I watched half of it. I left, went to the gas station down the street so I can get an iced tea because I was feeling kind of tired because I didn't sleep well last night. Yeah. So too many matches. Although it was good, I didn't think there were a lot of bad matches necessarily. It was just I think I was just tired tonight, I and that finish kind of, if Swerve wins and there's a big moment, I think maybe I'm feeling a little bit better.
Right.
But when the lights go out, and it's been a while. We did it twice in the show, but it's been a while in AEW since we did the lights go out, and I was like, oh, who's gonna be the Bucks?
Yeah. So if you guys didn't watch the pay-per-view, why else would you be here if you didn't watch the pay-per-view? But if you didn't watch, just in case, I felt like, so we don't have a lot of time tonight because this match went way long. And I'm pressed for time. We're gonna cut the show short tonight, so we're just gonna get fucking right to it. But so Swerve and Mox, the main event happens, and it was slow to get going. Like it took them a while to get going, and then eventually got going, and they're having like a pretty good match. And of course they have a ref bump, and then Hangman comes out, he's about to interfere, and then the House of Torture comes in, and like they attack everybody and they're doing and for whatever reason, they ran out of referees, I guess, like because the referee was down for like 8 minutes. So that happens for a while. And then Swerve, Hangman hits the dead eye on Mox. And then Swerve is about to win. The lights go out. And when they come back on, it's the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks attack Swerve. And then Mox gets the finish. And basically sends everybody home unhappy again, like for the second pay-per-view in a row. We're having a pretty good show. This one doesn't hold a candle to Revolution. I thought Revolution was
way better. Yeah.
Revolution was like an all-timer. This one was like a mid-level AEW show. It had some pretty good matches, but they always have pretty good matches. And so like they have so many, it's like you don't really care when they do anymore. So they have to have just interesting shit happen. Nothing particularly interesting happened on this show, to be honest with you. Outside of like some pretty good matches. And then they sent the crowd home unhappy. And so now we're back complaining about a pay-per-view that was actually like pretty good.
It was actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that three-way match was, and I'm not a fan. I've bitched on three-way matches for a long time, and I'm not the biggest Speedball Mike Bailey fan. I've said that a million times. That was a really good three-way match. That was really good.
I thought it was too, and then I felt like it went like 5 to 7 minutes too long. Like at a certain point, I was like, can we just go home already? I even tweeted that. I got some hate on Twitter, which is fine. I was like,
not happy with you.
Yeah. And then right after I hit send on that is when then the finish happens like immediately afterwards. And I was like, that was a great finish.
It wasn't good. I think I texted you like that was a good finish. Like I actually really liked the finish of the match.
Yeah.
It was a little long. Right. I think everything went a little long tonight. I'll be honest with you. I love Bandito. I could have done without Chris Jericho and Bandito, especially with the finish in that one. I just which was fine. It worked for the moment. It was too much birthday.
It was they tried to do a dusty finish in that one. And if you don't consistently have replay, like when you all of a sudden have replay because someone's mom is outside saying like the guy cheated, like you could have that in every match. But this was my thoughts going into that match.
Where the fuck did you find that?
I've been sitting at this goddamn computer for hours waiting to start this show, and I just started like I added another button, but so that was my thought going into the Bandito and Jericho match, and my expectations were low, and the match ended up like exceeding my low expectations, and it was worse than I thought it was going to be because I didn't really care for that finish. But I will be honest, I did get worked. Like legit, I was legit mad. I was legit mad that Bandito was losing his mask. I was about to hit send on a Tony Bischoff tweet. I was gonna hit send on it, and then I saw the mom with Aubrey, the dumb ref, and they go, oh, okay, like, oh, we got dustied on this one. What the hell?
It's like the reverse dusty finish actually, because the dusty finish would be like the bad guys win at the end. So it's actually like the anti-dusty finish. But it worked. Chris Jericho gets everybody at the end because he wants to be pissed off at him, and then he does something interesting, and you're like, God damn it. Like he can't have great matches anymore, but he does enough. And Bandito is ridiculously strong for a short man who is, pretty acrobatic. He's insanely strong.
He's fantastic, man.
I love Bandito. I just want him to get more stuff in this company, right? I think he's pretty. I was telling my kid actually back in All In 2018, Bandito was the guy that kind of stole the show in the main event because everybody else was. Because remember, it was the Bucks and Ibushi versus Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio, and Bandito, and everybody's like, "Hey, this Bandito guy's pretty awesome."
Yeah,
that was kind of his coming out party, and that was 6 years ago. So
right, and then he had the option to go to AEW, but he chose Ring of Honor instead, and of course they put the title on him. But it was like at the worst period to sign with Ring of Honor at that.
Sir,
time.
he was part of Lifeblood. Do you remember Lifeblood? The Lifeblood
that was a Juice Robinson, right?
It was Juice Robinson, Mark Haskins, Tennille Dashwood,
oh god,
and freaking Bandito. It was the weirdest stable of all time. It lasted
that was Marty Scurll booking though, right? Wasn't that Marty Scurll at the time?
I believe that was the weekend Marty Scurll booked Ring of Honor.
Okay. I just want to say that if you chose to watch that stupid AEW scrum instead of this show, I hate you.
You're a bitch. You did that.
Yeah.
You're going to get better answers.
A nerd would watch that.
Yeah, Tony doesn't give real answers at those things anymore. He's gotten good at like saying nothing, really.
Yeah. We'll do a quick rundown of the pay-per-view. Opening match, like, okay, look, I'll be honest, I don't watch pre-shows, and I'm glad I didn't watch this pre-show because it was 2 hours, right? Or 90 minutes. So I didn't watch that. So if you guys watched the pre-show and you liked it, respect. I'm happy for you. I just didn't watch. I don't. What happened on the pre-show? Did anything interesting happen?
I don't remember. Crew. Are you familiar with Crew?
So that is Leo Rush and Mario Andretti. Action Andretti. Yeah.
They had like these oversized jackets that were spiky, and they looked like the Road Warriors, but I don't know if they were doing it on purpose.
Road Warriors have taken shits bigger than those boys, I think.
Well, yeah. I said the jackets were like big and spiky like the Road Warriors. I don't know. and they were wearing black and red. So I don't know if they were doing it on purpose or not. So that's like trying to figure that out. That's it. That's all I got out of it. Layla Gray's still really good looking.
Okay, hold on. Lady B, Bowens. That's right. Bowens did return and beat up Max Caster, right?
Yeah. He looked good. Bowens looked good. I don't know where they're going with this. Max Caster gets squashed by everybody. Bowens did look good.
So I think they've been trying to work like Max Caster's the total jobber. Sorry for the slurs, guys, but we use slurs on this show. He's a jobber. Okay.
Oh, Jordan Grace is pissed at you again.
I know, yeah. And Matt Cardona and Dustin Rhodes. Okay. But anyway, he's a jobber. I get the feeling like they really just don't like the guy. And like, because they totally have just been jobbing him out. He must have heat in the company. I think he's going to be on the unemployment line eventually. Like,
dude, he actually trademarked Greatest Wrestler Alive or something like that as part of this gimmick where he's getting beat in 30 seconds. He must have pissed somebody off.
Yeah. Yeah. He, especially because I'm pretty sure, didn't his dad play for the Philadelphia Eagles?
His dad is Rich Caster. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So his dad I know his dad died like not too long
ago. I think his dad played for the Jets actually.
Was it a different green team? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I get the shitty football teams mixed up. My bad. But
Godzilla is somewhere pissed. Yes.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, I heard that was pretty good. I haven't checked that out. I know the opening match was Will Ospreay versus every Will Ospreay you've ever seen was really good. But like he I mean every match he has is like the same and it's awesome and it was pretty, and Kevin Knight's tremendous.
Kevin Knight is tremendous. If you haven't watched TNA or New Japan, you haven't been watching the evolution of Kevin Knight over the last few years, welcome to the party. Yeah. He really, Will Ospreay bent over backwards to make him look like $1 million. And it seems like Tony's set on pushing him a bit. Like they debuted him in this tournament and they didn't really have to, but they needed a guy who wouldn't screw up storylines. So it made sense. It worked. It worked fine.
Yeah, it worked. He was last second replacement for Jay White, I think.
Jay White broke his hand.
Yeah.
You know, Jay White gets hurt. That's just what happens. Yeah. And it was a great match. I want to see where we go with Kevin Knight continued.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Kevin Knight in this company. I'm glad that he chose AEW instead of going to WWE. I know.
Better fit.
Better fit. I think WWE like tried him out. I don't even think they actually even made him an offer. But he's definitely in the right spot. As we talked about last week, it seems like AEW has really shifted their focus on the type of talent that they're signing. They're going after Kevin Knights and Speedballs and Josh Alexander and stuff and guys like that, as opposed to the previous generation of signings that they were doing. Miro, Andrade, Malachi, like guys like that, you know.
Toxic dudes, yes.
Toxic dudes with back issues, and so now you got guys that actually really want to be a part of the company, and I think that's exactly the types of people that they need to be signing. So, great signing. I'm going off memory. I don't have the actual the rundown up. So if I miss anything, just let me know. Bob Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeat Large Bill and with Brian Keith, right? Yeah. The little fuckery in the match, MJF interfered, but WWE had Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin for years. They were in the same faction for a while. They never really got behind the faction for long enough, I don't think.
Though they were over.
They were over. They decided not to go with them. And just looking at them, it's like these guys are like tailor-made to be a tag team. Like, why would you not have had them be a tag team that whole time? So
they look like action figures out there.
Yeah. And I'm like, of course they're a tag team. Now look, they're fucking old. I get it, but they look great.
They're good. Yeah.
And I enjoyed the match. I think Bobby Lashley has an aura that you just can't fucking like you just can't create. So just naturally a gifted performer. So I thought the match was pretty good. I mean, we had the MJF stuff, but Brian Keith, of course, takes the L. I think I missed Julia Hart and Mercedes Moné. How was that one?
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Julia, Mercedes is good with people who are a little bit more experienced. Like Mercedes carried Julia to a decent match, but Mercedes is kind of sloppy herself sometimes, and Julia is also sloppy sometimes. So you get that it was sloppy. It was actually, I thought Harley carried herself better than Julia did in their matches. Like, Julia's fine. She's still a project. She probably doesn't get enough work time to keep getting better. But the potential is still there. It was It was fine. This was way too long. This could have been about 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes.
I think that's like the theme of the night. Like so many matches went way longer than they had to, and some matches didn't even need to exist. I could have done without the Bandito, and I love Bandito. Could have done without that match, and I could have done it without Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole. Like as soon as it came on, I was like, I had other stuff to do, so I went and did that. But yeah, Mercedes Moné won. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, just because we're speaking of the women's matches. I thought Toni Storm and Megan Bayne was awesome. I really enjoyed
I thought so too. Yeah. Toni Storm she's great, man. Yeah. Like we were haters on the character at first because we both knew Toni Storm's a good worker, and we're like, this is dumb that she has to work as the character now. But man, she worked her ass off and she got that character over, right? It's one of the most over things in the company. The Mariah May story is one of the most over storylines that company has done, specifically with women. Right? And like she went out there and she did like her own little Rocky spiel with Luther as Mickey, which was great. And like Megan Bayne is like the female Brock Lesnar. She's got this aura and presence about her. She's jacked, she's strong, she's big, and she just, like I said, she has this presence and she's really good. Like, we had a little bit of a fuck finish, but that's okay in this case because like I feel like there's more tread on these tires that we can go with these two. And they only had a month to put it together.
They probably went to the match a little bit early, which is why they had the finish that they had, because they want to keep Megan Bayne strong. But they wanted to get Toni Storm on the pay-per-view, and they want to make it look like Megan Bayne as like a legit threat. And so they did it. And when you have that situation where you don't, that's the type of finish that you get. But either way, I thought it was successful.
I thought it worked.
I think they really got something in Megan Bayne.
Me too.
She's going to be, as she continues to get better and improve, I think she's obviously the future of the division.
The one trios match. Go back to Bayne. I think one thing we have to do with Megan Bayne is we have to find some personality in her. They got her with Penelope. I like the Penelope pairing because Penelope's kind of small and super athletic. So you got like a Shawn Michaels Diesel thing going with the two of them, but someone's got like neither one of them are like a personality. Right.
No,
at some point, someone's got to get some personality out of somebody, and we're not there yet.
Yeah. So they definitely need to add to her character a little bit, and so, but that could take time, or she might not ever get it. But I think that she will. I think that she will. If she's working with the right people, she will. And Toni Storm is all personality now, and so continue to work with Toni. She's going to bring out your personality. If not, you're going to get thrown by the wayside.
But the thing about Toni, she's still so good. Yeah. Like that hit, there's nothing gnarlier looking like between Kenny Omega's V trigger and Toni Storm's hip attack. Like those are the most vicious looking moves in wrestling, right? Yeah. Like that was a moment too. Toni Storm hits 3 hip attacks and a pile driver, the Storm Zero, I think called pile driver. Yeah. And then Megan Bayne kicks out at 1, crowd erupted. Like that shit got over, man. That was a well-booked match. That was one of my favorites of the night, actually. I liked it.
I would put that right up there. All right, let's get to the trios match. Rated FTR versus the D Riders, and the D Riders won. Yeah, and after the match, FTR they turned on Adam Copeland.
God damn, did they turn?
Yeah, and it wasn't like a subtle turn either. Like they beat the shit out of that guy.
The fuck out of him.
Broke his neck. He'll probably be on Dynamite Wednesday. No, I'm just kidding. He better not be.
They should take a couple months. We're gonna get it. Sean Ross Sapp and someone fed to us that Sean Ross Sapp said that they I'll say it. You don't like me. The all-in match is gonna be FTR versus Cope and Christian.
Yeah, someone fed to us. I'm not gonna say the guy's name. His name might be on the screen though, but someone's fed us from a Discord.
Right. So apparently we're gonna get that. Dude, that was a great turn. Like it was a predictable turn, but it was a great turn. Andy, we're watching. Andy goes, Dad, how come when tag team turns, one guy's always like kind of into it, and one guy's like super into it, and then the other guy gets super into it? And I'm like, you've been paying attention, son. Way to go. 9-year-old picking up on this. Those concertos that Dash hit were phenomenal looking. Yeah. Like they look great.
I think you meant Cash. Cash
was it Cash or Dash? Yeah, Cash.
You said Dash. It was a combination of the two.
That was his W. Oh no, I think it might have been his WWE name too. My bad. Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cash. My mistake. Cash laced the shit out of him with that chair. Like, it looked great.
Yeah, I thought it was great heel turn. Yeah, we're gonna
Great heel
get Edge and Christian versus FTR at All In.
That'll be fun.
Look, that's the match that they've been wanting to do forever. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
like been by design. I don't know how long Adam is signed to the company, so I wouldn't expect him to be around like too much longer. So they just got to get to it now. So it's gonna be curious to see how they turn Christian baby piece of shit heel on television. So that's gonna be interesting.
They've been doing something with Nick Wayne with him lately, and I thought that was just a setup. There was Nick Wayne was on the pre-show too, got the pin. They're setting up Nick Wayne to go to the New Japan Super Juniors tournament. So curious to see how this comes out. Curious.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how it turns out. We also had the Proto Star, which is a ball of gas. So we have the fart. Kyle Fletcher, the Fletchlight, taking on Mark Briscoe. I thought this match was pretty good, but I'm like, admittedly, I'm a big fan of Kyle Fletcher, but anything that Briscoe's doing, I just love.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe.
I thought this match was really good, and honestly, I thought that like this match, like this was another match that probably didn't even need to be on the show.
But I'm okay with this match being on the show. This was better than a lot of the matches in the show. Kyle Fletcher's really good. Like he's really come along. Proto Star sounds like an 80s cartoon show that lasted a season. I did like the fart. That's a good one.
I actually stole that from Brody King. He said that on Twitter, and I just thought that was.
Oh, did he really? That is a great one. Good job, Brody King. Another guy they should push harder. I love Mark Briscoe. He only gets so far with a push in this company, and I'll never quite understand why, because the man can literally do everything. Yeah. But he put over Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is gonna be something in this company for a long time. He's really good.
He really is. Kyle Fletcher got the victory, so he moves on in the Owen Hart tournament, and we already talked about the three-way match. It was great. Kenny Omega retained there. And then of course we had the main event. So that was Dynasty. Sorry, we're cutting the review on that a little bit short, but the pay-per-view just went way too long. So just it's like, guys, like this is essentially like a B show. They're charging A show money, but it's a B show. It's like B shows can be 3 hours, guys. Like you don't have to I know you want to get everybody on the show, but like it could be a little bit less.
I get. Well, here's the thing. It can't be less because the market says that people pay $50 for the show. You charge $50 for the show. Let's see how people feel about that in 2 months' time, by the way.
Yeah. No, what I mean is it didn't have to go 4.5 hours long. It could have went.
But they want you to feel like you're getting your money's worth.
I know, but I stole it.
I didn't. No, some scruples. No, and I get where they're coming from with this. I do think maybe they need to reevaluate things. I think that belts might be tightening over the next couple months, maybe. So
hopefully. Let's get to these max numbers. I actually earlier in the week. Just pulled out the old iPhone and recorded something for Patreon, and then I did some clipping for YouTube. So people had my thoughts on it, but essentially, Joe, we kind of put that guy out there in the podcast sphere, and he's all over the place now. So we're taking full credit for BJ's success, not his hard work, his hard work and his great reporting. It was us. So
all us.
But he's one of the most hated men on Twitter right now. But
it's great. It's our friend. Yeah. Like our legitimate friend is hated by people. I love it.
Yeah. Me and him had some pretty interesting conversations that night. But anyway, he reported that the AEW on Max numbers, the Dynamite on Max, averaged about 500,000 viewers per week. And a lot of people are poking holes in that. And Dave Meltzer had his spiel on his various Observer Radio and, of course, the Wrestling Observer newsletter. I know a lot of people have different varying opinions of it. What I will say, and I said this earlier in the week, but I just want to repeat it here. Give those numbers any kind of a chance. BJ is a hell of a reporter. He doesn't make shit up. He has great sources. I've actually worked with him on a story before where I was helping review documents, and I know how hard he works and how much research he does and puts into this stuff. So, yeah, it seems extremely high. And I think Dave Meltzer probably had a pretty good explanation as to why it was high. It's probably more of a peak viewership type of thing. Andrew Zarian said that maybe it's because when you're watching it and you're leaving during commercials and you're coming back, you're counted multiple times. So the same person could be counted, 5, 6, 7 times per time. So that was what he explained. So there could be a lot of reasons, but because it's BJ, I believe it.
Here's the thing. Netflix, however, when it comes to streaming numbers, with all streaming services, you're at the whims of the company, right? And what they count as their number. It's the same thing that Netflix does for raw numbers, right? Yeah. But people like to tout those because we like the company that protects the rapists. So I'll say this for BJ. BJ had the AEW TV deal months before anybody else did. And he told us, he texted us, he said, here's the deal. And we sat on it for a while because we were like, this man's crazy. But he was right. He had it months before anybody else did. So I'm going to say BJ's sources within WBD are pretty solid. And even if those aren't the real numbers, those are the numbers that WBD is running with. So take it for what you will.
Yeah. So if those numbers are legit, what a home run for AEW. What a home run for AEW. Eventually we're gonna get the numbers, like the legit numbers.
I don't think we will.
You don't think we will?
I don't think anyone. It's like the Netflix. Like there's no Nielsen for the streaming stuff. Like they don't have to. They don't have to report anything. I think these are the quote unquote legit numbers, and even Nielsen numbers. Nielsen numbers are estimates too.
And like, they're the way that they do their algorithm is, and the way it's like polling for politics, right? Like they can do like 10,000 people, and like they're sampling 10,000 people, but they're trying to do it for like 300 million, right? And so that's kind of how they do polling. It's a statistical poll, a statistical average. And so we were talking about that with the old Impact numbers. Like I remember one time back when Access no longer subscribes to Nielsen, by the way, which is why we don't actually get those numbers anymore. They just quit, which is probably smart on their part because that became more of a topic of discussion than it really needed. Back in the day when we were talking about the Impact numbers, they would go from like 120,000 one week and then drop by like 30% the next week. And it was because like 2 people just didn't turn their boxes on that week.
Legitimately,
you know what I mean?
Legitimately. And we would talk. We have a friend who would like, oh, I missed Impact tonight.
Wade. Yeah,
and,
Wade. Wade would message me like, oh, hey man, sorry, the Cubs are on. I'm going to tank the Impact ratings. And sure enough, it come out. It was down by like 10, 15%.
Every single time. This is why I was trying to say it. And Nielsen numbers have been like this since the 70s, I want to say. So you have to take them. It was easier to do when there were 3 channels, right? Yeah. It's like, I've been saying this for months. It's like there are estimates too. Like you say, well, it was down 40%. I mean, kind of. I mean, like, but it was like things that was what the industry subscribed to. The industry said this is what it is. So you accepted those numbers, whether they were real or not, as the basis, right? It was like the X that everybody worked off of. So when we say what the real numbers are on streaming, we're never going to know what the real numbers were. We're going to know what WBD reports and what they claim it to be. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks because this is what WBD internalizes. This is how they categorize it. We have X right here. So we have never, here's the truth. You have never known the single true rating of any television show ever.
Correct.
That's the truth.
Yep, absolutely correct. But in BJ Bethel we trust. And so if BJ says it's fucking, it might as well be gold to me. Because that's my friend. If you guys don't like it, you can eat my shit. Okay. Anyway. I stick up for my friends.
Mine's really stinky. You don't want to do that with me.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna I'm gonna talk MLW, JD.
Why?
I watched Battle Riot last night.
Battle Riot's a cool concept, actually. I'll give Cord his flowers on that one.
I love Battle Riot. I don't think I've ever missed a Battle Riot. It was free on YouTube last night, and I was just like, wait a minute, they're just putting this out there for free on YouTube. They upgraded their production. It still wasn't like top notch, but like for MLW, I thought like the production, especially the way that they did the ring, they shot the ring and stuff like that. I thought they did a pretty good job. They got Paul Walter Hauser on board, who's like a legit movie star now. He's on board as like he's like executive producer. So they had it in a television studio. They claim 2,000, but that television studio can only hold 1,000, but they're running with 2,000. So
Court,
you got to love Court Bauer.
Court.
Yep. But I just want to just make, notes off of MLW. Hammerstone returned. So, it's probably for the best for him. I was hoping that he would get a sniff with AEW. But
word says he's not signed with MLW. He just had a per date. That's what Sean Ross Sapp said.
Yeah. So like they just kind of show up and work dates, and so he's there. But they put him over strong. He was the first entrant into the battle riot, and he lasted till almost the very end. And he just became available. So anyway, this it was essentially a glorified CMLL show with some New Japan stars sprinkled in. MLW doesn't really have a roster, so like their roster's like legit. Like I think it might be 10 people, like 10 people that work there, like that's on like an actual, like they're agreed to multiple dates throughout the year. And then outside of that, it's just like freelance talent, and it's CMLL and it's New Japan stars. And the New Japan stars, it's like some of the New Japan strong stars, but I think from who they had recently was more, it's Kojima and Okamura and guys like that. But I think every major CMLL star that they have was here, like Blue Panther, Atlantis Jr., Mystico was in the crowd. Ultimo Guerrero was in the match. So ton of CMLL stars, which that's what's drawn the house. So kudos to them. They're able to work out to where they were able to sell some tickets. So I thought it looked pretty good. Anyway, Matt Riddle's MLW World Championship was on the line, and he retained his MLW World Championship. It was him, and it was Bishop Dyer, the Nomad. You familiar with him?
No.
That's Baron Corbin.
Oh.
Bishop Dyer, the Nomad, and it was the Maharaja and Donovan Dijak. Donovan Dijak is there.
The Maharaja, is that
Jinder Mahal? Jinder Mahal was in the match. So anyway, they the final three was Donovan Dijak and Bishop Dyer. They're a tag team now in MLW. They're attacking Matt Riddle, and then number 40 was Ron Dam showed up. He looked half stoned. Might have been sipping some Cavassier on his way to the ring. Gets into the ring. He rolls his ankle. He's not moving around too great, but he ends up helping Matt Riddle fend off Dijak and Baron Corbin. And then those two went at it, and then Matt Riddle eliminated RVD, and Matt Riddle retained his MLW World Championship. During the course of the show, though, they did have a vignette of some old school brothers drinking beer in a silhouette. So it looks like the Good Brothers are in fact going to work some MLW dates whenever they're free.
Wow. So all the guys that Tony would have picked up a couple years ago that off the Vince chopping block are now just working for Court, or now just doing dates for Court, because Tony's, like you said, Tony's signing the Speedballs and the Josh Alexanders of the world.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, all the people of the North and yourself saying, "Oh, they're going to go to TNA." Baron Corbin, Raj Desi, like all the people, Good Brothers, like the TNA LOL signings, they're heading to MLW. Like legit, like every single one. Every time they get fired, everyone's like, "Oh, that they're heading to TNA. They're heading to TNA. Heading to TNA." They've gone to MLW every time.
Mike, to be fair, TNA used to run pay-per-views where they would advertise on which WWE cast up they were going to sign next.
Yeah,
that was how they marketed multiple shows.
Yeah. Hold on, DJ Convoy's here. DJ,
hey,
popping in to say the policing the real hardcore AEW fans do is ridiculous.
That's true.
Everyone knew that people would be pissed if Mox skated by. He did, and now it's all, why aren't you patient enough to let them tell the story? It has been going on since September. I agree, DJ.
I agree 100%. Yeah. And it's not a great story.
No.
Like I still don't know what Mox is trying to do.
I think he's trying to hold on to the title until fucking Darby gets back from Mount Everest. It's like I legit think that's the story. Like Darby's went to go do Mount Everest, and if he survives, he's got to be the one to come back and get the championship, because that's been the story.
So Are we setting up for our war games? Because we usually do war games around the summertime, right? Like early spring and summer. Like it seems like you get the Bucks and the Death Riders teaming against, Swerve, Hangman, and Samoa Joe's crew, right? That's what we're setting up here.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But why are the Bucks teaming with the Death Riders? Death Riders scared them off. That makes no sense. I mean, we'll find out, but
I will find out. It doesn't make any. I mean, I don't know. Matt Jackson looked like he was in pretty good shape. The only thing I took out of that.
Yeah, no, he looks good. True Flight says nobody signed with them a little bit. Yeah. So with the way the contracts work for them, a lot of it is like you just agree to certain dates. And I don't think they have any dates on their calendar right now. So
that's not a good sign.
Well, MLW doesn't have a weekly television show, so they can have sporadic dates, right? So I get the feeling that when MLW has dates available, Good Brothers and Dyer and Raj Desi and all these former WWE cats are going to work those dates. They're not locked in any contracts. They can kind of come and go as they please. They're not really running any significant storylines up and down the card because it's just matches for the sake of matches using New Japan and CMLL talent, and they're drawing houses with it. So I'm like, look, I'm not hating it. Like, I'm not. Back in the day, they used to have a weekly television show. They do it in front of 150 people in a bar, right? So they're actually doing like what they're doing right now seems to be working for what they do. They don't. They just have random events. And so right now they don't have anything on the schedule. I get the feeling they'll have something on the schedule relatively soon.
It makes it easier to follow the promotion too, to be quite frank, because there's so much time. There's so much time devoted to wrestling in the day. So if you eliminate the idea of the weekly TV show and just have the event, why not?
Yeah, it's kind of like game. It's kind of like what Game Changer does, but I would say that the production is a bit better in MLW. But Game Changer does it, Prestige, Wrestling. So MLW essentially is an independent promotion, right?
Okay. I enjoy dogging on Court. It's a little personal. But it's better than Game Changer, right? Yes. Game Changer is filmed with like a VHS tape with like a VHS camera with some Vaseline on the lens. The thing looks like ass.
Yeah, no, and especially this one they just did in Los Angeles at Thunder Studios. I thought that it looked much better than I remember whenever they did their debut on Reels Network, and that was like the poorly produced television show I've ever seen on cable television.
Sure,
it sucked so bad. It sounded like Matt Stryker was talking into a tin can. But they had like Joe Dombrowski. They brought in Austin Aries to be. I don't know why, but he's the color commentator now. And so they like a mostly like low level professional production. I guess they're trying to sell it to some TV studios. So we'll see how they do. I'm not hopeful that they'll get a TV deal. They've been, Court Bauer's been telling us they're getting one forever, and they almost had one until Stephanie McMahon blew the deal with Tubi. But we'll see. But I just wanted to say, look, MLW was not a good show. Okay. This one that I'm just watching, the one I'm talking about from last night. That's not anything that anybody needs to go out of the way to watch. Okay. I just happen to enjoy the carnage and the atrocity that is, and the fuckery that is Battle Riot. I just happen to like that.
Hey, Mike, what channel was supposed to run MLW before Stephanie McMahon blew the deal?
Tubi.
Tubi, the same network that has WWE Evolve on it right now, currently, right?
That would be correct. Yep.
Intriguing.
Yep. 100%. But all right, guys. Hey, because AEW went so long, we have to go so short. I have to go. I'm going to Kauai tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be there until Saturday. So Brace for Impact will be delayed, but I will get a Brace for Impact out for everybody, and it'll be on Patreon. I'm not clipping this shit for YouTube because I'm not taking my computer with me. I'm just going to be at a 5-star resort for an entire week. It's my birthday week. Nobody fucking bother me. I'm going to be at a little remote island on Kalapaki Cove for an entire week. So that's what I'll be doing.
Fuck you. Yeah. I'm going to go to school tomorrow and teach people how to use Photoshop.
Nice.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, that is going to do it for us this week on the Mike and JD Show. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A-Made, no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This is an A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A-Made, no rain from
270 people